Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So today, I do want to do a reading, but I want to do something a little bit different. Take this like a learning opportunity. I think I've done this before, but that was in like one video way long time ago. So I did get a new deck of cards called the Tarot, and they're so fun. What I like about them is that they're made up of different like magazine covers, like old school ads. So yeah, I thought, why not take this moment to show people what I like to do when I get a new card of deck. How do I clear it? How do I set it up with my energy so that, you know, the readings resonate with me and flow better. So first thing I always tell everyone is to connect to your higher self, right? That's your purest self. It knows your life goals. It knows the lessons you came here to do. It knows how to steer you in the right direction all the time. So who else better to trust than the source that is designated for you, right? If that makes sense. So you want to bring that in and anchor it into the heart. And from the heart, you really want to anchor yourself into the earth, right? Get that real grounded, steady, confident energy, right? Once you kind of let go of everything that's heavy and dense, you're going to want to bring that energy, that new energy back up. It will go through each chakra, right? Through your feet, through the root, all the way back up, and anchor that into the heart. So here, while you're sitting in your heart, you're open to source and your guides, connected to your higher self. And then from the heart down, you're really present, grounded, and connected to everything. So this is a great place to be in the heart. And so from the heart, it kind of, the energy, especially when you use your breath, goes into the heart. And when you let go, it goes up and out through the hands. So I like to use my hands to clear the deck. So I hold it in, I don't think it really matters what hand you hold it with. Some people are like, no, you have to have it in your receiving hand or whatever. I think if it's going to make it too complicated and you're going to add fear into it, it might not be part of your routine. And the only thing about a routine, or you can call it a ritual or whatever it is the more times you do the same thing together at the same time, it just kind of gets you to that place easier with repetitive muscle memory or whatever. Which is the same with any skill that you do over and over and over again. It will just eventually become second nature and natural. So I like to hold it in my right hand because I'm left-handed. I don't know why, that just feels comfortable to me. Just do whatever feels comfortable to you. And so I hold it in what feels comfortable, and I use my left hand. And so the thing with cards is they're usually made of paper. And so trees when they're alive, or rooted in the earth, they're alive, right? They've got the energy, they're taking and transmuting, doing all this. But once you cut a tree down, it's no longer connected to the source and the energy. Especially trees, paper type material, they now only collect the energy. It doesn't quite let go of the energy because it's not connected anymore. So everything that this deck has kind of been through is in this little clump here. So just with intention, your intention is so powerful. So I like to hold in my right hand, and all the energy in here, we're gonna knock it out. And my right hand is going to receive it out, and we're just gonna energetically put it in the trash can, or whatever you like to imagine, something where you can let go of, give it back to the earth to be used for something and transmuted to something better. So I like to knock all of it. You just imagine it leaving into your hand, and then the most powerful tool that you have, I use my breath just to clear away anything that's stagnant in here, right? So just knock, and your intention and holding that is so powerful. So I've cleared this quite a few times already, but because of that, now it's clear. But because it's clear, now it's nothing. So what I do like to do is, if I have the time, I'm not going to have the time because this is a video and I'd like to make it quicker. I like to touch every single card with my energy, because I'm connected from above and below in my heart. And I'm going to infuse that universal love into these, because that's where the best readings will resonate. And so, right, if I can, I would at least touch every single card, right? Go through it, and the more, if I could just admire the art and all that, it's just that thank you kind of gratitude energy, because that is what art is here to do, is to inspire that in us. And so, right, I go through every single one. I've touched it, I've admired it. Then I like to take the cards and fan them out as best as I can. I'm going to put them by my heart energy. I'm going to breathe that into here, because paper and anything that's wood, or used to be a tree as it was growing, will now absorb. They're so absorbent, and that's why you do have to clear sometimes. And especially if you have things in your home that are wooden, you might want to smudge them, or just do some energy work with them. But that's also the importance when you do a reading for someone. You do want to clear it afterwards and start again, right? We want to start from clarity. We want to start at ground zero. And so, yeah, I've done this quite a few times, as I said, so these should be good. And so I do want to share a couple ways on how I shuffle. Because in most decks, like let's say this one, they have this really cool like foil on the sides. And so I don't really want to wreck those. I don't know, sometimes I see like readers and there's like a deck of playing cards. Like these ones maybe, because they are more flimsier, I'd be okay with that, but I don't know. I want mine to last so long, because I really do love every single one and the way they feel and things like that. So a couple ways that I shuffle is because it's comfortable, I always hold it in my right hand and just start shuffling. I kind of hold it loosely, and like the middles will kind of fall out. So it is kind of shuffling randomly. A lot of clumps do stay this way. And then every now and then, because I do love working with reversals, because it's not good or bad, it's just sometimes, hey, pay a little bit more attention to this. And there is duality in this world, so I do like having it all. I don't really like the whole overlooking and pretending like that. It's there. I love working through it. So sometimes every now and then I'll just do a couple shifts, and yeah, and then just keep going. That's one way, right? And so when do you stop? Well, I always like to ask, if something flies out, keep it. That one had all the energy and it really wanted to share its message. But let's see here. One way I like to do is, right, I shuffle with the hand that's receiving or comfortable. And then when I hold it in this hand, I like to shuffle it back. And however it kind of slides, I don't know if you can kind of see, however it kind of slides the more mishmash, messy this is, the more I like that. Because then now I've got such a stack that kind of wanted to come out. Even though they weren't as shuffled the best, these ones are predominantly out. I love to connect to my guides and say, how many do you want, or whatever. My intention could have a spread and you know how many you want. Yeah, so we'll do that one. They're saying 2. So another way that I like to pull cards also, and this is like my second teacher I ever ran into before I ever understood cards at all, or energy work, right? I would say my first was my grandma, because she dreamt me. And before I was even existed, she knew it was coming. And so she always kind of helped build that in me. But then the second person who kind of taught me was when I first started going for massages. So there was this girl, and she did Reiki. And I've been thinking about her the last couple of weeks, so it's kind of exciting just to share this story with you guys, because I think of her so highly often. And so she was so magical. It was 11:11 on my clock when I saw that, when I said magical. And she had this like really light, like fairy type energy. And she's funny, because I didn't realize that I was an energy worker or a healer, but she kept saying, as I was trying to have a massage, she also did Reiki, that the whole time while she's trying to do the healing for me, I'm sitting there healing her with purple energy. And I thought that was so odd. But then as I started to learn more and more, she's the first one who really encouraged me to go down a different path. And because she was so light, she was so like she was a fairy. That's the best I could explain. And she was so patient with teaching me. So this is probably the way that I dealt cards for the longest time. And it was because I loved her. She was such an awesome soul. And so I remember her floating up to me like a little fairy. And she's like, do you want to know how I play with cards? And so she did the shuffling, right? And then all she did was hold it in her hand like this, and then let it fall. And wherever it falls, that's where she would take it. And so that's how I started for the longest time. And I always, the more and more I did that, I got the absolute perfect one. You could take it like this, and it just be the first card, or it could be that whole clump. And I really like when they come out in clumps, like it's kind of, well, if they're really good and mixed up, right? These ones will probably just be, yeah. Actually, that was pretty good. And then, what's another way that I like to pull cards? Well, I love to use my palms. You want to activate them if you're not quite feeling them, but just simply rubbing them together like this, and then lay your cards out all on the table in a big mishmash, right? And then use your palms and feel. When you kind of do a quick sweep the first time, does anything get hotter? And this one totally does. Woo! This one's on fire. What is it? It's the 5 of Cups. What's up with the 5 of Cups? Regret. Why would we be in regret? They're saying you're talking about the feeling technique this moment, and not many people have developed that feeling technique yet. So it's one for them to start at the beginning and not be so hard on themselves. They're showing me someone who they didn't have that emotional feeling intuition yet, and then so these decisions that happened, being mad that they didn't know back then what they know now. And it's like, that's okay, because you weren't supposed to know that, because each person, right, as we talked about my one teacher, she inspired me to start learning about energy. And I didn't, right, you just naturally do things and you don't know why. But yeah, I was like, what do you mean? I'm sitting here giving you purple energy. Blew my mind, but it makes sense now. She was an awesome lady. And then we like went separate ways, right? And then I went and did like my studying and deeper and started developing it. And I got to do card readings at one of the rock shows. And I remember sitting at the table and I looked over and there she was. Universe brought us back together, and I just remember looking across and be like, is that you? And it was. And I just been thinking of her these last 2 weeks. So that's cool. I can kind of like share a little bit of my like fangirling admiration of how she helped me in this time. So weird. So I was shuffling, right? Really mixed them up, right? Because we had the 5 of Cups over here. And then I pulled all the way over there, nowhere near the 5 of Cups, but I got the 6 of Cups. And I'm trying so hard to avoid having like a not really good shuffle deck. And I like there's no way that those two would have came. So I just find that funny. And so 6 of Cups is all about giving. See, we have a little boy and he's sharing with the little girl. And I feel like that's just me sharing my story with my teacher. Okay, so a little quick message here. What they're sharing in this card. So the little girl, she has 1. The little boy, he has 2. She is giving her second one to him. There is 2 more to come. I don't know what these 2 over here are, but it is something of a message. And they say, do you know what I did when I was showing how I use my hands to feel? I mixed up all the cards that I already pulled. And on top here is the High Priestess. And so it's like, yeah, no, that's okay. Just go off pure intuition right now. And I think that those are the messages that kind of are a little bit more powerful. Is you can take a deck of cards and you could go and read the book and take it so literal. But it's the High Priestess and the intuition that I find has been more beneficial for readings than to go by the book. And what do I mean by that? Is working with my guides and the stories that they tell me. And so before I pull a card, I really love to tap into all my senses to see if they're going to tell me anything first before I even flip over the card or something like that. So let's put all these back. We're going to take this one. And so using your hands, I love to feel first. So first thing that comes, you have 5 psychic senses. We'll go over it real quick. So you have your 5 senses, then you have your 5 psychic senses. You have your clairvoyance, which is seeing. And so it's almost how you imagine in your imagination. The stories, like just think about what you ate 5 minutes ago. How you think that way and how you think of your future, that's the way you see. It's not going to be like I physically see outside myself, although sometimes you will. And majority of the time I find it's within. So that's clairvoyance. Then you have clairaudience. And so that is clear hearing. So that talking to yourself in your head. My question for you, are you the one, because so many people talk to themselves, right? Your mind goes and goes and goes and goes. My question is, are you the one doing the talking or are you the one doing the listening? And I think you could think That's something to think on really long and hard. Who is the thinker? Who is the talker or listening? um, but yeah, that's how my guides work with me. And it's almost, sometimes they'll give songs, sometimes you'll just hear something. It's that chatter in your voice. But sometimes it knows things that you don't know. Sometimes it tells you, like, don't do that, do this instead. That's clairaudience. Claircognizance is just when you get energetic downloads from guides and you don't know how you got it, but you got it. It's just bloop, there it is. Those are so hard, but you get to learn some really cool things if you trust yourself. We got clairsentience, which is all clear feeling. Best I can explain is, like, in my reading the other day, I had like an energetic knife taken out of the back, and it was like, sometimes I find that the hardest one, only because you feel some things you don't want to feel. So I think you have to be the toughest with that. I think you have to be the toughest with all of these, and that's why it's so important to communicate with your guides what you are okay with for boundaries. If you're gonna open the floodgates, you're gonna get bugged all the time. And you don't want to get bugged all the time. You really want to have your you time, and you can control all of these. Especially if you're having an awakening and things seem intense right now, you really do get to dial it back and let them know what you are capable of. Don't try to rush the process. You don't want to be, right? Everyone just wants to be connected, but it's really important to ground that and be stable and present and functioning. And so clairgustance, that's the last one. That's that smell and taste. Do you ever have passed over loved one's perfume waft by, and it just brings back memories, things like that? My grandma and grandpa, they have both passed. And so before my grandma passed, their house burnt down. And so she had a real big fear of that. And so my grandpa, he would come to her in the form of cigarette smoke, and it would trigger her. And she'd be like, do not come to me like that. So he changed it up, because it's really just trying to get your presence, to notice the little signs and symbols in your everyday life. And so I guess my one reason for, I would love for you to watch my channel and enjoy the stories. But what I really love even more is for you to understand how your intuition works, and not need to go to anyone else to validate your hopes and dreams, because you already know. If anything, it's like, I just need a break, and it's nice to hear an outside perspective tell me things in a different way. And I always go with what I know, because, I've connected to my guides, and this is just confirmation on the path. And so, yeah, I always think, let's rewind a little, it's more important to tap in and find out the intuition of the cards than the literal book. There are tarot books, and there are meanings to this, and there's so much symbolism in it. And I could spend a lifetime of just following that. And I'm not saying not to, because it is really fascinating. There is two stories when it comes to tarot. In the first part, there is, we'll just say, with the High Priestess, the lovers, the Sun card, those kind of things. Everyone's probably seen those. So that story is called The Fool's Journey, and that's called the Major Arcana. And so it's the Fool, and he goes through this journey of learning life and what it takes to grow and evolve, and to, continue to enlightenment and wisdom, we'll say. And then on the other one, where we got the cups, the pentacles, the wands, and what other one I forgot, swords. That's the tree of life, or Kabbalah, or whatever it is you want to call. So it goes from 1 ace, beginning, until 10 completion. And so when you figure out these stories, especially when it comes to the minor arcana, there are 4 different suits. And so each one also kind of represents an element or a season. You know, four is so significant in so many things that the more and more you break it down, the more and more it's just symbology, and that stuff is beautiful. But what I love even more is the creativity and the stories and the extra things that the guides bring into it, right? So we always say connect to your highest source and those guides, right? Bring in the highest light. Because there can be so many guides, and be mindful and discerning of who you're connecting to. That's the most important thing as well. And if you do the grounding in the light and the heart, you're solid, you're golden. And you gotta trust and believe that, because you're in the heart, and the heart is very powerful. The heart is way more powerful than the mind ever will be. The mind, the purpose of the mind is to receive information, filter that information, and then send things to where it needs to go. The heart fuels everything. But when it's in the flow, man, are you powerful and unstoppable. But yes, so when I pull a card, here we got the Knight of Pentacles. Before I even looked at it, what I probably would have done is I would have felt it, or, you know, just imagined it, or whatever it is, focused on it. Somehow I tap into the energy of it, and I would see what I would get. So let's get another card that I haven't seen yet, just for example. So when I picked that up, I heard the song Peaches and Cream, or the words Peaches and Cream. When I think of both tarot stories, that makes no sense to me at all, but we're gonna keep it. We're gonna, I don't know, because Spirit loves to talk or use words or symbols that you know. It's like they can't really tell you something that you don't know. Well, I mean, sometimes they do, but that message gets really weird. But actually, sometimes those are the best. But they'll show you things that you know, and they'll, like, let's say, we already talked about my grandma. Let's say that I'm picking up on someone's passed over loved one, and you know, they're older and they're this. My grandma might show up, and I'm like, okay, I'm picking up on this lady, and then maybe like parts of her will glow, and I'm like, this, and this. But I might not see their grandma, but then the pieces, and then it goes, and then it starts to form. Like, just go and let it and evolve. Receive. That's it. So I heard Peaches and Cream, and I'm seeing for some reason a half yellow something. Then I am seeing a fancy gentleman. But is that because of this card? I was like, maybe this is still in my memory, but no, that's not the guy I saw. And there might not be that on this card at all, but let's not dismiss it yet, right? So then I like to look at it. Okay, well, funny enough, not a gentleman on the card at all. There is something circular and yellow. I did see this. It was in the reverse. So what does reversals kind of mean? When you learn the stories in the upright, a lot of the time there is a kind of... So, what is going on? Sometimes, right, we heard things, and then they say you can go and actually talk about what a Page of Pentacles is, which, let's see how the book defines it. Where do I even have the book? I don't use the books often, but some books have really cool information in it. I kind of looked over this earlier, and it pretty much was like the basic description of them, so I didn't look much further. Okay, because sometimes it would actually go into, let's say, like, this was an old ad, and they'd be like, this was from this time, and then this and this, and so there's not much of that. So I love buying and hearing other people's descriptions, like the ones that are of the stars and galaxy systems. I love learning about those ones. So, Page of Pentacles, this is what they say. Do they even do reversals on this? No, they don't. But it says the Page of Pentacles has acquired some wealth. Does she know what she wants to do with it? I get the notion that this page has just gained access to her full trust fund and is indulging in some artsy fashion ideas. She may be in the throes of brilliant idea, or she may be squandering her newly gotten gains. The point is, she is in her element and expressing herself. Actually, that had more sass and story to it and actually did describe the cards more than I actually thought. The ones I read was like, you know, victory is ahead. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Okay, so this was in reverse. So what would that mean? This one's saying, like, does she know what she does, the plans? So I'm gonna go against it because this is opposite. She already knows what she wants. She has it planned. She is no trust fund but baby. She made it from the bottom to the top through every process. And that's why now she can stand there and look at her accomplishments. I'm seeing this because, and now I'm going to go into, because the actual physical of the card, what we just said, now I'm going into details. So to me, it looks like she's looking in the mirror. It said, yeah, I can look myself in the mirror and admire all my accomplishments because she's not a trust fund baby. She's a superstar who earned her pentacles by, over here, I see that as like a silver coin. I'm gonna say, right, when you see dimes, those are angelic help winking at you. I think that a lot of it was divinely helped. She was guided on her adventure of the money. They were like, hey, why not look into this investment? This might be good for you. And this one is saying, hey, do not go and spend that money. But really, one thing for sure that she did, I heard, was penny pinching, not nickeling and diming others, but by knowing the value and hard work of her money and saving, which was opposite of what this book said in reverse. So reversals aren't all that bad. There's some people who just really don't like reading them, but there is no good or bad. It's just don't put a judgment on something and be open. You'll always work through whatever energy comes up and out, and try not to control the outcome. You want to ask a open-ended question. You don't want to ask a yes or no, because then you're going to pigeonhole yourself into just this, and spirit will only give you this much information. But if you say, how would this benefit me if I went in this direction? Well, this and this could happen. Now it's open. Could also be Pandora's box. But anything else that we maybe want to touch on? I feel like for now, this is a lot. Oh yeah, one other thing that I tell people to do when they're starting off is, right, and you're not going to ask the same question over and over and over and over again. You kind of want to trust. You want to trust yourself. Ask the question only once. Maybe you might need clarification, asking a different question or something else to come in. But if you are consistently every day in the same question, you're not seeing what you want like that, let that go. Sometimes don't become dependent on this. This is only pictures and things to help you reflect what your guides are already showing you first, right? Because you tapped into the card before you even looked. I see a crown and I see orange and 3 jewels. Again, might not be on it, but that's the picture they showed me. Okay, we got the Knight of Pentacles, do it again. And so we had that lady in the other card. I feel like this one is just chilling there and he's like met his match. The other one, we mixed them up. She's already gone. Yeah, she's gone. Okay, what I really hear when I look at it is like she's off busy, she's doing work and things like that, and he's just waiting. He's got, as I mentioned, a crown and jewels and all these things, and he's just waiting for her. He's like, I'm not gonna rush things, I'm not gonna force things. Every day, I'm not gonna go sit there and ask the same question and be like, when? He's like, you know what? They're off doing their thing, I'm off doing my thing, and there is no need to force things at all. Let divine timing work everything and just chill. So, open-ended questions, don't do things over and over again. Yes, what I like to do though, and because I think practice makes perfect, one thing I really enjoy doing is pulling a daily card. And so we pull the card, check it out. Did I not? Okay. There's totally a story between this page and Knight of Pentacles, because I did shuffle, but it ends up in a 10 of Pentacles. And look at that. I was like, there's no need to rush things. Look, there he is. They got kids. They got all this abundance. Each pentacle is a stable something, right? That's more like house, job, business, just everything. Whereas, dang it, I shuffled them all. I wish I didn't put that back in. Remember that like Knight of Pentacles was like just sitting there smoking? And now he's lighting her cigarette. I myself am not a smoker, so that doesn't look exciting, but to each their own. So yeah, oh yeah, shoot. I already shuffled it back in and it's gone. Oh, there she is. What I like to do, daily cards, right? I'm going to sit it here and at the beginning of the day, you don't know how your day's going to go. So I'm like, all right, 10 of Pentacles. Am I going to let this card dictate how my day goes? Hell no. I am in control of myself and my life and how I show up and present myself. But it is nice to be aware of things that may come at you. And so this one seems to be a little bit more of a positive card. I'm not going to probably have this high guard up, but I'm also not going to not have it down. Anyways, I'm going to go off into my day and I'm probably not even going to think about this. I'm going to let it go. Why? Because I said I'm in control of my day and my mood and how I act. So I'm going to show up and present myself the same as I do every single day. But then at the end of the day, because I leave this on my table, I'm going to come back and reflect on my day what happened and does it match up to this card? And 9 times out of 10, it does. It's mind-blowing sometimes. So yeah, I could talk forever. But today I just really wanted to share with you guys how you could ask your own questions and only because I've got some people who are just as talented and maybe even better at this kind of stuff than myself. And so I don't really want you to depend on my answers, but maybe if you need a break and you just want to hear things said in a different story, to come and stop by, hang out, share the energy. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Have a good day. Bye, guys.